If you feel like your body is a giant knot ball, then you need to reset everything. And we're going to do that through a series of stretches and activation exercises. But first, let's see what's going on here. Go ahead and pop down into the bottom of your overhead squat sit and just get a feel for what's tight, what's not, what's working. And then we're going to retest at the end. So go ahead and pause the video, get your squat sit in there. Okay, so now that we've got a feel for what's tight, what's working, what's not, let's go ahead and start from the ground up, and we're gonna start stretching everything out to help reset our body. This is called an ankle distraction. You just wanna elevate your foot using a chair or a box or a stool, and you want to basically just push your knee as far forward as possible and put as much weight over the ball of your foot as you can. Now, if you have tension in the front of your ankle or your heel or your calf, you're gonna find it here, which means that you might need to spend some extra time doing some calf stretches or more of this ankle distraction. Now, if you do feel like your bones are mashing up next to each other on the front of your ankle, you're gonna wanna try to do an ankle distraction with a rubber band. If you don't have one, don't worry, just go ahead and do this without and do the best that you can, because a little bit of something is better than nothing. But if you do have access to a rubber band, go ahead and put it right there on the front of your ankle and then do the same thing. And what you want to do is just try to back off of it and then try to push your knee as far forward as possible. Hold it there for a little bit, back off, push your knees forward. So the idea is just to help loosen everything up in and around our ankle. So I want you guys to go ahead and do 2 minutes on each ankle. Go ahead and pause the video, do your ankle distractions. Let's go ahead and move up our leg. This is just called a kneeling stretch. So you're gonna literally just sit on your heels. Now, a lot of people have really tight shins and ankles, and this is gonna be really tough. So only go as far back as you can without experiencing pain. If it's a stretch, that's okay, but we don't wanna go into the pain cave. You just wanna lean back as far as you can. And if you can pick up your knees a little bit, that's okay. Don't get overzealous on this one. Keep it nice and simple. And then if you have really tight hips, you can also just raise your hips up while you're doing this. Go ahead and spend 2 minutes doing this kneeling stretch. Pause the video. So with the kneeling stretch, we got the front side of our leg. Now we're gonna go to the back of the bottom part of our leg and do a calf smash. So I want you guys just to go ahead and put yourself up on a foam roller. If you have a foam roller and a lacrosse ball, let's go ahead and do that and get a little bit more aggressive with it. And just flick your foot 5 times as aggressively as you can, and then rotate it in each direction 5 times. And you can also just rock your leg back and forth side to side. I want you guys to go ahead and do 2 minutes for each calf. Pause the video, smash it out. Okay, moving up our leg into the hip flexor and the quad, we're gonna do the Samson stretch. So go ahead and put your heel down, then just go ahead and keep your abs tight and drive your knee forward and lean your chest backwards. Let's go ahead and do 2 minutes on each hip. Pause the video, do your Samson stretch. Okay, we did the front side of the leg. Now we need to get the back side and we need to get our hamstrings. So start off like you're gonna do a superhero stretch, drop that back knee, and then go ahead and straighten out the front leg. The trick here is to make sure that you don't let your foot drop as you do this. You wanna continue to pick your toes up and point them towards the ceiling as much as possible. And that's gonna help us keep it in our hamstrings. Now, if you need to make it just a little bit more aggressive, you can always scoot that back leg back just a scotch. And if you can't keep your fingers on the ground, you can always bring your arms up to the top of your thighs, just to make it a little less aggressive. You can also take your hands down to your shin. If you're really wound up, you might need to hunch over, but there's a better stretch if you can keep your back nice and straight. Let's go ahead and do 2 minutes on each hamstring. Pause the video. Now let's go ahead and smash out those butt cheeks. So go ahead and grab your foam roller. You can also do this with a lacrosse ball if you have one. But go ahead, if I want to smash out my left glute, I'm gonna cross my left leg over my right, and I'm just gonna work my way up and down across my entire butt cheek. I want you guys to go ahead and spend 2 minutes on each cheek. Pause the video, smash it out. All right, that'll do it for the lower body. Let's go ahead and move up the chain a little bit. We're gonna do a prayer stretch. So you're just gonna reach across your body, grab an imaginary peg, and then sit back. Make sure when you're doing this stretch that you start with your hips directly over your knees. If you're sitting on your heels and then you reach your arm across, you're not gonna feel this stretch. So be sure, start with your hips directly over your knees, reach across, and then sit back as much as you can to get as big a stretch as possible out of your lats. I want you guys to go ahead and spend 2 minutes on each side. Go ahead and pause the video, stretch out those lats. All right, next up is the scorpion stretch. So you're gonna start by making sure that your hands are in line with your ear or your chin, and then you're just gonna roll over and stretch out that chest. So just go until you feel a good stretch all the way across your pec. Be sure that you don't drop your hand too low or you won't feel this one. You can also do this with a bent elbow, making sure that your elbow is still in line with your shoulder. I want you guys to go ahead and do 2 minutes on each chest. Go ahead and pause the video, stretch it out. The last stretch we're gonna do is called the Jefferson Curl. We like to call them Raggedy Anns. What you do is you grab a light weight and then you go ahead and just start coming down. Think about coming down one vertebrae at a time. So start by tilting your head down, then letting your upper back come undone, and then slowly just curling your body over until you basically get down as low as you can. Now I've sped up this video, but that doesn't mean you wanna do this quick. You wanna take your time, make sure you keep everything nice and controlled. I mean, we're dealing with your lower back here, and if you're not used to it, don't grab the heaviest weight that you can to force you to get into a more aggressive stretch. Start light and work your way up so that you don't overly stress your back. Again, we're talking about your spine, so you want to keep this one nice and controlled and don't overload it. So this one, just do 1 rep. I want you to take your time, work your way down very slowly, and then work your way back up very slowly, putting together 1 vertebrae at a time. Pause the video, do your Jefferson curl. Okay, we've spent a lot of time stretching, but now we need to activate the muscles on the back side of your body that probably weren't working. When these do work, it helps us to never even get into this situation. It helps keep our body moving the right way. We're gonna start by activating our upper back with some IYTs. You can see I'm starting off by putting my hands directly above my head, just bringing my thumbs up, 7 up to the ceiling, and then coming right back down. After you do 30 reps at the I's, I want you to do 30 reps with the Y, just like you're doing YMCA, like at a wedding. And then go ahead and bring it down to a T, have your hands in line with your chin or your ears, and do 30 reps at that T position. Focus on squeezing your shoulder blades as you do these. Pause the video, activate your upper back. Now it's time to activate the most important of all muscles, your glutes, your butt. We're gonna do a glute bridge. So dig those heels into the ground and then raise those hips up as high as you can. If you think you're pressing your heels into the ground hard enough, you're wrong. Press them in there harder. There is no such thing as a glutes being too strong. I want you guys to hold this glute bridge for 3 minutes. Pause the video and squeeze your cheeks. The final step in our process to make sure that our body doesn't get wound up like that again is to integrate everything we just activated and stretched out into a big movement. I want you to go ahead and do 15 split squats on each leg. Pause the video, keep as many muscles engaged as possible, especially your upper back and your glutes. Last thing we need to do before you go about your day is get back into that overhead squat sit and see if you are better, same, or worse. Guys, I hope this video helped you to reset your body and start feeling better. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button, share it with someone who needs to reset their body, and be sure to hit that subscribe button and check out our other videos that help train you to move pain-free. We'll see you guys on the next one.